Hello everyone. I am going to my nephew's birthday party. He's having his party at Shakey's over here in Norwalk, California. Now, the last time I took my X100F to a group gathering was the wedding. And at the time I was still understanding how the camera works, and I'm still trying to figure out how the camera works. I mean, I've figured a few things out. But in this situation, I'm going to be doing a little video and taking some pictures. Now, I know for a fact that last time I did a video like this where there was a group setting, people were saying that I sounded a little bit too negative, that I was blaming the camera. That's a fair assessment. Definitely it's not the camera's fault if it can't focus, right? Especially if you don't know what you're doing. I get it. But if it's really in super automatic mode, like, you know, continuous autofocusing and everything on automatic, you would expect it to do something reasonable. The camera's not there yet, especially if you're inside, you know, a room or something. It has trouble figuring out the subject. So my new attack will be to put it in manual focus, and I've been practicing that with my monopod the last few episodes. So I'm going to try manual focus. I'm also going to try to look within the viewfinder to record that way. That's one. And two, when I take pictures inside of a setting, I'm going to set the ISO. I think I'm going to set it up at 3200, 6400, and then maybe set up the f-stop around 4 or something. Try that. Shutter speed, you know, I might let it do whatever it wants. Hopefully the ISO is high enough so that the shutter speed is not too low. I'm going to use face recognition, see how that works. So I've been to this Shakey's before, and my brother-in-law has told me that they're in the corner, so there are windows, so I'm going to have some backlight, so I'm going to have to fight that. So definitely I'm going to have to overexpose use the exposure compensation on the camera. So when I get there, I'm going to take some pictures, some video, and then I'm going to go home, look at them, put them together, and do a little voiceover, and then we'll see how those pictures came out in video. See you there. So this one is a JPEG black and white. Let's see. It's at 200th of a second, and I decided to just put the f-stop at 2.0. This one is going at 800 ISO. Camera does have noise reduction of -2. Tone is -2 for the highlights, and +2 the tone for the shadows. Sharpness, I think, is +2. So most of the pictures are in those type of settings. And here's the color version. None of these, this is the raw, none of these I've touched in any way and processed. Here's another one. This one, the ISO went up to 2500. This is black and white. And this one, I increased the exposure compensation a little more. Just open it up. And so I love the black and white on this camera. This one in particular, let me see, I have the camera here. Let me see if I can get into its Q. It's yes, black and white, G for green, and the same settings. Noise reductions -2, highlights is -2, shadow tones +2, and the sharpness is 2. Face recognition as well on all of these. This one, same time, around the same time, I knew that I was going to get that overexposed look in the corner. And it does have a little bit of a soft, it's not sharp. And I've noticed that a lot when there's a lot of backlight on my subjects. There's probably a reason for it. I haven't figured it out yet. And this is the color one. A little oversaturated. Now that one, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think we're in Astia or Velvia. It's one of the two. Which one? I don't recall. I think it was Astia, but I'm not sure. This is just a regular picture. One of the things I haven't discovered yet with the X100F is which of these film simulations I like. I haven't figured out which one I like. The one that I like most is Monochrome. I thought I was going to like Acros, but I like Monochrome a little bit better. I'm going to have to test this. This has a very familiar look to it, to me. Definitely film look to it. So that face recognition again. One of the great things about this camera that I'm liking a lot is that when you do have it on face recognition, when you take a picture, it seems to kind of nail it. And also, there's a place where you can when you press the shutter all the way down, there's a setting where it says, do you want to take the picture immediately or do you want to wait until it's focused? And one of the things I think I had for a long time was just take the picture, do your best, focus and take the picture as I'm pressing the button. But there is a setting in there where it will wait until it's focused and then it'll take the picture. And I think that's helped a lot in making sure that I'm not getting this blurriness. Sometimes the pictures would look a little blurry, even though the shutter speed was above 60 or 100. The shutter speed more than 100th of a second. One thing that I am comfortable with is taking pictures at very very low f-stops. So it's open pretty wide right here at 2.0. You can see the ISO is 1250 and the noise is acceptable. Very nice. Here's a black and white version. It's a different picture. Noise is awesome. Very acceptable. Here's the color version of it. Now, this one's the raw. This one's the monochrome version. Another monochrome. This one's at 1000 ISO. So you can see the ISO is varying depending on, the exposure that it wants to find. The person on the left looks a little bit out of focus, but if I remember right, there was two squares on their faces, and I believe one was green. The child was green, and then the adult, I think, was a white square. I'm pretty sure that the green one says that's where it's focused, and this one's the color version. Definitely here, I remember there was three squares. And the person on the left, you can see, is a little bit out of focus. And this one was at f2.0. So it's definitely focused on the child. But it's not going to be able to focus the person on the left. But either way, it's fine. And even if I did not like this picture, I can always crop the person on the left. The same thing over here. The person on the left is a bit out of focus. I knew that was kind of happening, and I didn't want to increase the the f-stop in any way. I was already at 1600, and believe it or not, I've seen so many pictures being a little bit out of focus, and nobody really complains. But definitely, I do see the person on the left being out of focus. And again, the green square was on the child. Here's another picture that I like. 3200 ISO, really overexposed. This one, I believe, was 2/3 or, yeah, 1 or 2/3 exposure compensation plus 2/3 or 1 exposure compensation. You can see the shutter speed is at 200. The f-stop was at 2. And this one's a bit overexposed in the middle. I didn't notice that. But this one is a RAW, so I'm pretty sure I can bring back that overexposed middle piece where it's between happy birthday. And there I am. And this one is completely raw, 6400, 170th of a second. Here, there's a little movement. I took a picture of the cake there. Closer look. Not bad. Another picture. This one, I just put it over my shoulder and just snapped it. This is a RAW. And you can see that it's ISO 1600. Noise is not that bad, yes. The windows are overexposed, and I kind of knew that already coming in. There's probably a way to balance it a little bit, absolutely. But again, I don't have flashes, or I'm just taking a picture. That's it. If it's blown out in the background, that's fine. There was a lot of food there. If you've ever been to a Shakey's, it's all you can eat buffet. Pizza, Mojo's, chicken. Again, great tones of skin tones. This one's ISO 2000. Pretty amazing. Yes, of course, almost any camera can go up to 3200 ISO. I get it. But a small little body like this is amazing how the technology is getting better and better. As a matter of fact, I never liked going over 1600 ISO, but I'm more comfortable now taking pictures at 6400 if necessary. This one's overexposed by one stop, it looks like. And this one, it seemed like the square was on his face, but it focused on his finger instead. Well, that's natural. I'm not blaming the camera for that one. This was a better picture of the balloon. Happy birthday. JPEG. This one, little boy loved to put his cake on his face. And this one's, they told me, hey, turn around, take a picture very quick. And I did, and I just took it. I wasn't looking through the viewfinder. I was just looking through the screen, and it was focused on the little boy's face. And I took another picture here, and it did a great job. I'm very amazed at the faces being recognized. The face recognition of the camera is doing great for taking pictures. This one, I just, they were making noise. I turned around, I took a picture, but you can see it's not focusing on anyone. As a matter of fact, it's focusing on the background right there on the top of the wall in the red. But again, I wasn't really looking through the viewfinder. I was just, I just turned around, took a picture. Again, it nailed it. Two people's faces. This one as well. Looks very good. This one has an ISO of 5000. So my camera was set to 6400. And again, like I mentioned before, I purposely put it on an f-stop f 2.0. I don't remember setting the shutter speed at 200. I don't think I did. If I did, then I'm a pretty bright person, because I know at 200th of a second there wasn't going to be any blurry action. But I believe it was, if I remember right, I don't think I set it at 200. But if I did, it looks like all of them were at 200, then good for me. This one was a pretty interesting picture. So, the person behind the window, I was trying to take a picture of them, and there was no way that the camera was going to focus on that person on the other side of that window. So I put it on manual mode, and I twisted the focus ring, and I was able to capture the picture. That, of course, is not processed at all, and this one's raw. 200th of a second, f2.0, 640 ISO. And this one's kind of close up. Pretty surprised it didn't focus on the words better. But I've seen this before. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm too close for it to focus, but it still took the picture. And this one, I was just here. Now it went down to 1/80th of a second, 6400 ISO, f-stop of 2. And I was just curious, would a higher f-stop look different? Well, duh, of course it does. So that one's at 2.0, and that one's at 5.6. And you can see the shutter speed is 1/10 of a second. So I didn't notice that it was way lower. So this probably suggests that the camera was on automatic shutter speed. Unfortunately, I haven't really gotten to a level with the X100F where I feel comfortable in leaving the shutter speed at a certain level. I kind of like the ISO to fluctuate to whatever level it wants, and also the shutter speed, because I like using the exposure compensation a lot. This one came out very good, and that is the last picture on this set. So overall, I think the pictures came out much better. There was a lot more light compared to the wedding. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a video with the audio that I took when the birthday boy was blowing the candles. And the video didn't turn out, it turned out very well. It didn't turn out in any way blurry, because this time I took the video manually, and not a lot of people were moving, so I was able to keep my my subject at a constant distance. So let's watch the movie, and then I'll be seeing you later.